Hey guys, how you doing? This is Juan with Liberty Graphic Designs, and today it's gonna be our first video of the year 2022 where we're coming back to screen printing. Yep, you heard me right, screen printing. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so for those of you that follow me, you know that I keep saying that I'll be coming back to screen printing. However, I'm only going to be doing videos for like tutorials and stuff like that. I don't plan to go back into screen printing like I used to be in the past, 100%. But I am going to be doing some small jobs. Well, maybe not that small, right? I got to do 70 shirts for a church, and then I got to do some other like 12 here and 24 there, and then 30 hoodies. But what we're gonna be doing today is actually, again, the first video. And this time around, I'm gonna show you everything that I do, the way that I do, the chemicals that I'm using, everything. So now we're gonna be focusing almost 100%, or I think it's gonna be 100% water-based inks. That's all I wanna work with. I don't wanna get any plastisol, none of that. So I'm going to be sticking to water-based strictly. For that, we need to use some not special, but some emulsion that can handle water-based, that can handle discharge. And that's what we're going to be using, again, so you guys can see what I'm using. It's by the brand Kiwo, and it's going to be Kiwo Poly, right there, Poly Plus MP Red. Don't worry about the color. They make it in red and they make it in blue, I believe. Don't worry about the color. The color doesn't have much to do. But anyways, this one comes with what is called a sensitizer, and you have to mix it in order for the emulsion to receive an image. So that's what I'm gonna do. Is I'm gonna mix some water with the sensitizer, and this one right here, I'm just gonna use some of my drinking water. You can use whatever water you want. If you use the still water or drinking water, that will be better rather than using tap water. If you do use this water, like you saw me using it just a little bit, maybe some of the chemicals went inside, so don't drink it. Just in case if some of that went inside. So what I'm gonna do is with a little bit of water, I'm gonna throw it in the emulsion. Now, whenever I mix my sensitizer, I'll usually use a towel and I put it around. It doesn't do anything. There's nothing special to it. The only reason why I use it is because I don't use gloves. And usually when we mix the sensitizer, sometimes it'll leak, and that stuff will yellow your hands really bad. So just mix it, shake it real good. You don't have to be here for like 5 minutes or whatever. Just make sure it's completely mixed. So sometimes when we don't mix it right, there'll be some lumps in there. And then obviously mix it a little more. It's gonna create a lot of foam and stuff. So this one actually had a good seal. Usually you'll see where they're leaking. And that's why I use a towel to, just in case if it leaks, I catch the whatever leaked. So now we're gonna open this. I'm gonna grab my scissors so I can open it, because first time you open it, it's pretty tight. Once it's open, you'll see it actually looks pink. I know the bottle says that it's red, but it looks pink, right? It actually turns red when it dries. So again, showing you the type of chemicals I use. And this is gonna be, if you guys are working with water-based or discharge inks, this is really good emulsion. You can also get emulsions that are what we call photopolymer, that are already mixed. Those actually last longer. This one, once I mix it, it's gonna have a shelf life at about, at the most, 6 months. And I doubt that it'll last that long. So as you can see, everything is nice and mixed. It was just water. So we're gonna get rid of this deal. And the little water that I had in there, I'm not gonna drink it, I'm just gonna pour it in there. Don't worry, it won't mess anything up. And then now what you wanna do is just, you know, mix it. Usually when you buy this emulsion, they'll give you a wooden pallet, not a pallet, like a stick, mixing stick, so you can mix it. And then make sure that when you mix it, like, I don't want to tilt it, but it's very watery. Make sure that when you mix it, it's completely mixed, like super, you know, thoroughly mixed. I know a lot of people is gonna have this question. Juan, you're doing it completely in the light. Don't worry, you won't mess it up. Emulsion only becomes light sensitive when it's dry. When it's wet, it won't mess it up. Trust me, I've been doing this for quite a while. So again, I mean, like you see, we're actually going to be coating the screens. So what you see me doing is actually mixing the emulsion, obviously, right? So let me mix this real good. And just so you know, it's actually good once you mix it if you actually let it sit for about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. So make sure once it's mixed, put the lid back on and let it sit for, you know, 5-10 minutes. If you're not in a hurry and you want to let it sit longer than that, that's even better. And the reason for that is when we mix it, you guys cannot, let me see if you can see it. Look at my mixing paddle, and you see those bubbles? You don't want to have those bubbles in there. So it'll create some bubbles when you're mixing it. And when you go to coat your screens, those bubbles are going to appear on your screen, and more than likely you're going to have pinholes. So that's what I'm saying. Let it sit for about 5-10 minutes. Let all those bubbles surface, and that way you won't have that problem, or you'll minimize that problem. Now, one thing that I also do is if I see my emulsion being too thick, they actually call it viscosity. If it's too thick, then I put a little more water. But this one looks perfect. Okay, so I think it's pretty good. It's completely mixed. It even changed color. If you notice, right here on the container, you can see where it looks kind of purple, and now this one, it looks more pinkish, almost like light pink. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it sit for about 5 minutes. Again, just so I can let the bubbles, you know, rise up to the top. I'm gonna go wash this thing, and I'll come back in about 5 minutes. So now that we let it rest, you know, it's been about 10 minutes. Now we're gonna pour some in this is called a scoop coater. This one is about 18 inches. So the screens that I'm gonna be using, they're 23 by 31. So that's why I'm using a little oversized scoop coater. And you'll see me using it right now in a little bit. So, but anyways, whenever you get a scoop coater, you'll notice the one side is dull and it's very, you know, it's very thick. The other one is super sharp. Not like super sharp, but it's sharp, right? And usually, if you wanna hide deposits on your screen, what you wanna do is you use the dull side, the rounded edge. That one actually deposits a lot more emulsion. I don't like using that one. I actually use the sharp side. As a matter of fact, I will actually remove some of the emulsion. I don't like a lot of emulsion on my screens, and you'll see me explaining that in a little bit. But let me remove all this stuff right here, because lately I've been doing a lot of signs, and have to do another, I think six signs. So let me move that out of the way. And this is a press that we're going to be using. This is a V100. That's a press that you'll see me using, not today. Today, again, we're just going to be doing the emulsion or coating the screens. So, okay. So let me bring you in closer so you guys can see how we actually coat the screens. Okay, so when we go to coat the screens, we actually hold them at about that angle. I don't even know what kind of angle that is. I want to say 15 degrees, but 15 degrees is like way down. So 135, I have no idea where we at on the angle side, but usually that's what we do. I'm gonna be holding the screen about this angle right here when I go to code. So you're not gonna see me at this angle, but anyways, what I'm gonna do is I'll hold the screen about that angle. I'm gonna bring in the sharp side, and let me show you something real quick, because normally I see people like when they're starting, see this angle right here on the scoop coater. It almost looks like you can tilt it all the way down and write on it. Don't do that, because that actually creates lines on whenever you're coating your screens. So you'll see my angle will be about right there, and those edges are never touching. They're about, let me see if you can see them. They're about right there. So that's the angle that I'm gonna have on the squeegee. I'm sorry, on the scoop coater. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna coat on this side. I'm gonna put it this way so you guys can see it. So I'm gonna put it all the way on this side, and then coat all the way, and then I'm gonna start on the opposite side again, and then coat all the way. I'm gonna bring it all the way around the screen, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the squeegee, and this, I keep saying squeegee, the scoop coater, and this time, instead of holding the angle like that, I'm gonna bring in the scoop coater, drop it, and my angle is gonna be on the opposite, and I'm gonna be riding that rail all the way, bring it back, let the emulsion roll back into the scoop coater, finish it, come back on this side, and then coat again. Bring it back to the front, and then I'm gonna ride this right in the center, just like so, just like you see it. Let me put it on this side so you can see it, just about right there. What that's gonna do, that's gonna be taking off all the excess emulsion that's gonna be on there. So that's gonna leave a very thin, very thin layer of emulsion. And one of the reasons why I do 4 passes, which is 2 on the front, 2 on the back, and then the 5th one is to remove the excess. What you're doing, so your mesh is kind of like that, right? So usually they'll tell you, oh, you only need to coat the front, you only need to coat the back, and you only need 1 pass. You only need 1 pass in the front, you only need 1 pass in the back. Let me tell you, there's no actual, it's not actual set, how can I say it? It's not set in stone of how many times you need to coat the screen. It is not set in stone. So you're not gonna go to a book and find it that it says, you know what, it has to be like this. That's not, there's, even if you find a book that says how many times you need to coat the screen, let me tell you, once you find the way that it actually works for you, that's the way that that's the best way to coat a screen. When it works for you, that's it. Once I coat the screen, you'll see that there'll be a gap right here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a brush, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with the brush, and I'm gonna cover that line, that little gap that you're gonna see, and you'll see it as I coat the screen. The reason for that is because I don't like using tape, and if you cover your screen completely, that eliminates 2 things: the extra expense for the tape and the extra time that you're gonna take when you go to reclaim your screen, because you have to remove all that extra tape in there. So you're saving, at least 20 minutes per screen, and then you're also saving $6 a roll of tape. I mean, it probably went up already, $6 to $8. I don't use tape at all. Also, by me moving or doing 4 passes, which is 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and then removing the excess, that helps with pinholes. I have not never, but I haven't got a pinhole in so many years, or a serious pinhole, and you'll see it. So I'm actually going to jump in the back right here so you guys can see exactly the way I'm doing it, the angle and how much emulsion I'm applying. We're going to be doing 4 screens, just so you, again, just in case if you have questions. This is a 23 by 31. This is what they use on automatic presses. The mesh, as you can see, is yellow, but the mesh on the screen is 156. The reason why there's a yellow mesh, there's actually 2 color meshes. It's a yellow and a white. If you're doing halftones, you want to use a yellow mesh. We will not be using halftones. But if you were actually doing halftones, you use a yellow mesh, because yellow mesh doesn't transfer light to the sides. White mesh can. So if you need to be super precise on your lines and be nice and crisp, you want yellow mesh. So you have very, very precise lines. That's the only difference. If you ever notice, or if you ever wonder why you have white mesh and a yellow mesh, that's the reason why. So the light doesn't, expand to the sides, creating a jagged edge. That's the reason why. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some of these emulsion, and I'm gonna put quite a bit. If I know how much I need, I will come back and put some more. So again, this is the way that I actually coat my screens. I haven't coated a screen in about 6 months, because we stopped doing screen printing. So hopefully I don't mess up. It looks like I'm already messing up, right? Okay, so again, we're gonna grab our screen. It's about that angle, and I'm gonna write the edge of the scoop coater. It's gonna be like right there. You'll see it, and then I'm gonna come back on this side. You'll see how I do it. So bring it over, and then bring it back so the emulsion falls back on the scoop coater. Bring it back. I'm gonna go to the back again against the frame. This is where it gets tricky, because if you don't do it right, you're gonna have a lot of emulsion right there on the bottom, because most people, they get scared. So watch. You'll see all the emulsion that I was telling you. See, if you don't do it right, you're gonna have all that emulsion just like that. So if you don't hurry up, whenever you do the bottom, you have all that emulsion, and that's only gonna create a big mess. So, okay, big mess. I honestly didn't mean to have that much emulsion. I didn't think it was gonna dump that much. So now I'm gonna come back and remove the excess. Again, if you can see that little gap right there, I'm gonna go back and cover it with emulsion. That way I don't need any tape. I don't have to spend extra money on tape. Well, I don't have to spend any extra time removing that tape. And usually this step right here is not needed. I'm just gonna doing it because I made a mess. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this on the floor because it's gonna keep on dripping. Let me clean this mess before I do the other three. because all I'm spraying is ink degreaser. By the way, guys, I didn't tell you, those screens are actually being degreased. They're clean, they're ready to go. So let's do the other three. And this one's I'm gonna do them a little faster. If you see that right there, the X's, don't worry about it. That will not mess up the screen. See how on that one I didn't mess up? But I noticed that the, there you go. And now removing the X's, and then I'm gonna cover the rest of the screen. One big question that everybody's gonna be asking, why are you doing it in the live? Aren't you gonna ruin the screens? No, remember what I said at the beginning? The emulsion is not light sensitive until it's completely dry. So I'm gonna set that one right there. Just like that. Just like that. Making a mess on the way, or making a mess as I go by. And I'm gonna set this one right on top, because in a little bit I'm gonna take it to the back and I'm gonna set it on the rack. There you go. Oops. Almost skipped a step. Just like that. Usually what I use is a squeegee to put this back in there so I can clean the scoop coater. I'm going to use the brush. Scoop coaters usually have a lid. I don't like using the lid because over time the emulsion is going to start getting thicker, or it's going to start drying out on the scoop coater. So I put it back in the container and then clean the scoop coater. Just like that. I'm going to cover this. And again, this will be good for about, for sure, it'll be good for 3 months, 3 to 4 months. Anything after that, it's going to start going bad. And I'm cleaning this out because I know it's going to turn yellow if I don't clean it right away. That is it, guys. I mean, that's it. There's nothing to it. That's the way you coat a screen. If you guys have any questions, or before I go any farther, let me tell you, there's other ways of coating the screen. So this is my way. This is how I do it. I don't want to say that I'm the best. I don't want to say that I'm better than somebody else. No, this is the way that I do it. I don't like using tape, so I'm gonna coat it with with Emulsion. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. If you want to see something, I'm gonna put it on the floor because it doesn't fit there. One thing is that once you coat them, you have to make sure that they lay flat, you know, perfectly upside down. So like this. So the Emulsion runs to the bottom. That's why I said I'm gonna take them to the back and I'm gonna set them on a rack. That way all the Emulsion lays on the bottom and it's a lot easier to print. So, but for now, this is it for this video, guys. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it if you guys subscribe to the channel. And ding the bell so you get notified when I upload new videos. It's a pleasure like always, guys. This is the beginning of some videos doing with screen printing. So tomorrow, today is Friday. Tomorrow, Saturday, you'll see me printing about 70 shirts on that little bitty thing. And we're only gonna be using the flash dryer. That's it. So I wanna start slow and I wanna show you guys that you can do it in a small scale and grow big. So stay tuned. There'll be more videos coming up. Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure. I'll catch you on the next one. God bless you. Good night, and I will see you on the next one. Good night or good morning, wherever it is you're at. All right, guys. Thank you, and I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.